Okay, welcome to the Chapter 5, Section 2, Parameters and Event Handler Methods presentation lecture. As we get into Section 2 of Chapter 5, we have already talked about different inputs that a user can do to interact with a program, and these are called events. Interactive programs often allow the user to use the mouse to click to give an input as well. Buttons in a Windows-based interface, targets in a game, a checklist of items on a business form. These are all different possible events that we can use to interact with the program. Now in this session, we're going to look at how to use mouse input. The example that we are going to look at is a fire truck example. And basically set this up, what we are going to have is we have a burning building and we have 3 people that need to be saved from the burning building. And we are going to write code and use the mouse to let the user dictate which person is going to be saved at what time. There's no specific order. It all depends on which part of which floor is clicked, in which case then which victim is going to be saved. So people are trapped in a burning building and the user will click on the mouse cursor to see which person is to be rescued. Now, if you take a look at this part in red, in setting up this demo world, we position the fire truck so that the distance of the ladder from the first floor is 1 meter, second floor 2 meters, third floor 3 meters. Just some food for thought as we go through the example. Okay, so the storyboard is we are going to have 3 different victims who need to be saved. So the event is going to be click on guy number 1. The responding method is going to be save guy on first floor. Then event is going to be click on girl 2, respond method, save girl on second floor. And then finally event, click on girl 3, responding method, save girl on the third floor. So all 3 of these people are going to need to be rescued from the burning building. But a better solution would be is to add some parameters. And we've already talked about this, and you did this in your Unit 1 project. A better solution is to write one event handler method and then send in information needed to perform each action, which is the parameters. So if we take the method and write it as fire truck save person, and then we have the parameters being in there, which floor are we saving from, which person do we want to save, and how far away does the ladder have to go to save the person, we can then write the method. And to write the method, we are going to use a do and order control structure. We'll point the ladder at which floor, we'll extend the ladder how far, depending upon which floor is selected, and then which person is going to be the person that's going to slide down the ladder and be rescued. Then the ladder is going to be pulled back the same amount of meters. So we are going to use which floor, which person as object parameters, and how far will be a number parameter. So let's take a look at the demo here to see how this code is written. Let me bring it up real quick. Okay, here's now open my plane out of here. Let me open it up. Save people. All right, so here it is. Here's our methods. I can actually show you the methods. There is the method. There is the parameters that are in them. If I double click on them, you can see them. So here are the 3 parameters. They are in here. Here is the code that is written per our storyboard. And we can use that for each of the 3 individuals that need to be rescued. Now you can ignore these down here. These are just code that's putting in there to show the flame as the code is running, or as the world is being played. So if I click play, we can see that we've got the 3 individuals that are in the building and the flames behind it indicating the building is burning. If I click on any one, if I go to the top floor, ladder raises up and the person is rescued. If I go to the first floor, ladder adjusts, person is rescued, and then finally the second floor, ladder adjusts, person is rescued. Okay? So there is a way of using an event handling method with parameters in an interactive program. Okay, go back. The concepts illustrated in this example are parameters allow one event handling method to handle 3 different events. And then also the fire animation object has built-in event and event handling method to show the illusion of fire going on in each of the floors. Now another example is this Zeus world. So let's take this to the next level. Zeus was a powerful god in Greek mythology. Zeus was pretty much the father of all. When Zeus was angry, he would shoot a thunderbolt out of the heavens to strike anyone that got in his way. So if we take a look up here, here's Zeus, and down here, these are all of his disciples. Now the user will choose which philosopher will get the next target of Zeus's anger. That's the kind of the story behind this world. So a possible storyboard or design would be to design a method with an object parameter that we could call who for the object that was clicked. So the event, an object in the mouse is clicked. The event handler is going to be shoot bolt. The parameter is going to be who, which is the object that is clicked on. And then once that happens, a do and order control structure will be pulled into place, and then prepare to strike, which will be a method that's written, and then the thunder plays and lightning strikes when the object is clicked. The lightning is repositioned for the next strike. Now the actions in this storyboard are complex. So the best way to go about doing this is to use stepwise refinement and break this down into some smaller steps. So what we want to do here, and again you can see how this can get complex, is we have the event and object in the mouse is clicked. When that happens, the event handler is going to shoot the bolt. The parameter is going to be who, and then we are going to call upon different methods within this method to execute the code properly. So we want to call the prepare to shoot method, which is over here. The prepare to shoot method is right here. You can see how that's going to work out. Then we're going to call the lightning and thunder, which is this method right here. And the special effects that we are going to have would be the target. These are ones that we would not have to write. These are already in there, but this is in a do and order control structure we have doing together. Lightning bolt move to the target, smoke move to the target, and then do together. Set smoke visible, all that other kind of in the background type of code that needs to execute. Okay, so let's take a look at the example. Open up the Zeus world. Okay, so here's the Zeus world. Here's the shoot bolt method. Calling upon these other methods. All these other methods are right here, and they are applying to different classes within our world. So for example, here's the shoot bolt. Here's the lightning and thunder method. Here's the prepare to shoot method. And then here's the special effects. That's the biggest one. That's the one that's going to have the most lines of code. But now let's go ahead and execute this and see what happens. So here's the, if I click on any one of these, if I click on Homer, and you can also hear the sound, Zeus shoots him and he's smoke indicating that he has been shot. I can do the other one, and I can end up shooting all four of the philosophers in the world. And our in-class example is actually going to be taking this program to the next level. All right, so let's go back to the thought behind it. So the concepts illustrated in this example are the shoot bolt method is at the top of the storyboard design. This method calls upon two other methods. This is the driver method. Now an object under the mouse cursor is used in the when mouse is clicked event to pass the clicked object as the target. Now opacity, we need to know about this too because this is going to come into play in some of our other worlds that we create. In this example, opacity is used to make the lightning bolt visible and then again invisible. So if we take the opacity and we set the initial scene, if the lightning bolt is made invisible, we set the opacity to 0%. However, if we want the lightning bolt to be visible, we would then have to increase that. So in preparing to shoot the lightning bolt, it was made visible by setting the opacity to 1 or 100%. Now to get a little bit more familiar with this, you're going to want to review the tips and techniques for more details about opacity and how it can apply to a program. Now there's also some built-in methods here that we did not write. Cycle smoke is a special built-in method for the smoke object. The duration of the cycle smoke is 2.5 seconds. There are several statements in the shoot bolt and special effects methods used to move to instruction. The move to instruction moves an object to a particular position in the world. So in this case, it was the philosophers. In the example above, the lightning bolt moved move to the position of the cloud. Now, the move to instruction is described in detail in tips and techniques too, so we feel free to go back and review that so that you feel comfortable using that when we have some of our future worlds that we'll be doing in class and then also on your own. Whenever we write any code, as you already know, when parameters are used in an interactive programming, it's especially important to test all possible scenarios to make sure that the code is executing properly. What happens if you click on each philosopher or one at a time? You want to also try things that shouldn't work. What happens if you click on the column? Will the lightning bolt shoot over there? What happens if you click on a philosopher more than once? All of these are things you want to take into consideration when you are testing the final product. All right, so now before we go on tomorrow in class and do the in-class example, you're going to want to read Chapter 5, Section 2 if you have not already done so, parameters and event handling methods, and then also make sure that you familiarize yourself with the tips and techniques number 5. And then after that, you will be assigned the Chapter 5 Lecture 2 lab, and the project we will wait on that, but you will be working on the Lecture 2 lab. So we'll be doing all those things in the next coming days in class. So any other questions, feel free to ask me. Otherwise, feel free to view this presentation lecture as many times as needed to familiarize yourself with some of the concepts that are being presented to you in Chapter 5. And that concludes the Chapter 5 lecture Chapter 5, Section 2 presentation lecture. See you in class. See you in the next class period.